I learned to remote view as a child due to extreme stress in my family and suddenly found myself coming out of my body. And at first it scared the hell out of me, but then I realized it was a way to escape the confines of my bedroom. I was just laying in my bed one night and I was really angry and irritated and upset because I just had a lot of things I wanted to do and I couldn't do them. And just as I was falling asleep, I found myself floating up and I was looking down at myself laying in bed. And at first it was like, what is going on? And then it scared me. And then I dropped right back into my body and my whole body jumped like like I had come back into it. My whole body jumped like you jump when you're scared, when someone scares you. And I laid there and I was just like so blown away at what had just happened. And I was trying to figure out how it happened. But then I realized if I could do it once, I could probably do it again. So I just started to relax back into that sleep state. And I held the intention of going out of my body. And lo and behold, I did it again. But this time I knew that I had done it intentionally so it wasn't so scary. Then I thought, well, God, if I can go out of my body, I said, I wonder what'll happen if I try to go outside, if I try to go through the wall or the window. And lo and behold, I went right through the wall like it wasn't even there. It was really like, if you could imagine that what we think of solid is actually made of light. If you had a wall made of light, you could stick your arm right through it. So what happened is I just passed right through the wall of my house, and in our house at the time on Vancouver Island, there was a pasture right next to my bedroom where we had horses and cows. And so all of a sudden I was out there with the horses and the cows, but I was floating. I was in what I call my spirit body, which is a body of light, which is exactly what you leave in when you die. So that part of you leaves. So you don't actually physically, you die, your body dies, but your spirit does not die. Then I wanted to make sure I wasn't just tricking myself. And so I thought, well, I'm going to go find something that I can then get up in the morning and check. So I would do things like go to my tree fort, which is out in the woods, and say, okay, I haven't been there in a while. Let me go look and see if there's anything in there. If there was something in there like a hammer that I'd forgotten, I'd get up in the morning, and the first thing I'd do is go out and climb up the tree into the tree fort, and there was the hammer. One time I found my dad's chainsaw out behind our barn in the woods where he had left it. There was a conference put on by Lynn McTaggart in London, England, called The Field. And she's run that conference many years. I don't know if she runs it anymore. But that year, the keynote speaker was Edgar Mitchell, the astronaut, and they had a one-day workshop on remote viewing run by the director of the CIA's remote viewing program. And I said to some of my instructors that lived in London, would you like to go with me? I'd never told anybody that I had these abilities as a kid. At the end of the course, the instructor said, tell me what happened. And he gave a date, I think it was July something, such and such a year. Tell me what happened to me at this date and time. So what I did is I asked my soul to connect me to his soul. And then I said to his soul, could you please take me to this date and this time so I can see what happened in the timeline of his life. So a lot of people get images, but what I had happen was I was floating in my spirit body, just like when I left my body, which is what typically happens to me when I remote view. And I found myself floating outside of a multi-story building made of glass. And then my soul drew me closer to a window, and I looked through the window and I saw the instructor laying on a gurney, and it was inside of a hospital. There was probably 4 nurses and 2 doctors, and they were all moving very fast like it was an emergency, and he had tubes and wires and electrocardiogram, and there was a lot of equipment attached to him. And so I just watched this go on. He called the end of the session, and I immediately knew I was going to win. And so I shot my hand up, and I said to him exactly what I just told you guys. And I could see he had a look on his face like he was shocked. I got him. And then I had to sit there and listen to people saying, oh, you were stuck in a cave and there was, crocodiles or whatever their story was. And I'm like, waiting and waiting. Finally, he said, "You, the guy that looks like a soldier in the back, you're the winner." At that date and time, I had a massive heart attack and I was being rushed into heart surgery. So I watched him being prepared for heart surgery. So if you think I'm crazy, then think I'm crazy. That's okay.